everybody. Welcome to our Curio live show for the Perustopia book club. Yay! Reagan's like, ah! So we're going to be doing the Curio live show. Oh, yeah, Reagan, model that book. Yes. My book does not have a cover on it right now.
Oh, my dog wants up.
It actually looks like, do you notice that the cover, like the spine, it actually looks like it's Irish? Kind of.
Yeah. Oh.
Somebody asked me that. They're like, oh, is this like an Irish book? And I'm like, no. Nope.
Millie says hi, everyone. She also really loved reading along with us. Didn't you, Millie?
I want a dog. I have a
Didn't ya? She's like, Mom, I hate you.
She's so cute, though. I miss my dogs. I get to see them in 2 weeks, though, so I'm excited.
She's crazy, and she's trying to eat my taco leftovers. She's trying to
everything I figured out since, like, watching your Snapchats and talking to you, that she eats everything. But what dog doesn't? Okay, so this is our Curio live show, so there will be spoilers. So if you haven't read Curio yet, I recommend, if you want to know more about it, go watch our reviews. My review will be up over the weekend, so it's not up yet, but Reagan's is. So her channel will be linked down below, so you can go check out her review. My review is coming soon because I just finished this book, so it'll be here. Don't you worry. Yes. Okay, so Reagan, do you want to start off telling your opinions on the books? And guys, if you want to ask us questions throughout the live show, please go to Twitter and use the Perustopia hashtag. I tweeted it out, so if you don't know how to spell it, there you go. And yeah, ask us questions about the book. And yeah, so Reagan, do you want to discuss your opinions on the book since they differ from mine?
Yes, of course. So I thought the book was a really fun, like, YA read. Like, I didn't go in with any expectations, which I think was helpful. Personally, my favorite part of the novel was definitely the settings. It had two interesting settings that I would have liked to read about separately, but it was kind of interesting to see them interact with each other. Specifically, my favorite setting, for sure, my dog's finding it out, for sure was the Curio case setting. I thought the characters and like the social rules of the Curio case world were really interesting, and I really loved how they're obsessed with beauty and not breaking, which made sense because they're dolls. And I don't know, I found some of the characters even creepy or just really, really interesting. So I definitely really liked the Curio setting. I would like more information about why that was a logical punishment to begin with. Like, I liked that it existed and that was cool, but I'm also like, but why did they just banish a guy to a doll world, you know? But that's kind of a different question in itself entirely. But yeah, I definitely really liked the settings. I thought the characters were fun. I also really liked the Western world. I loved that the women had to wear those red capes and no one was allowed to touch them. I thought that was really interesting. Kind of a weird play on like very religious, like colonial, what am I trying to say? You know, people.
Colonialness.
Yeah, like when you move, when people like, you know, resettled into the West.
Yeah.
Stuff, you know, that sort of thing. It was cool. I thought it was really interesting. What did you think, Sasha?
Well, so I thought that this book was interesting. I did not love it. I thought it was definitely a good read just because it was so unique, and I've personally never read a story like this before. Its genres like were so like expansive. So the genres that included this novel that were like romance, it had fantasy, it had steampunk, it had kind of sci-fi-ish elements, and it had just so many genres. So it was a lot. And the two settings, the Curio Cabinet and the Wild West, I'm gonna call it, were like either, like you said, they were good settings, but personally for me, it just got jumbled, and just the settings really kind of was a downfall for me because I felt like having all these characters' points of views, I know there were only like 3 points of views, I think, but even though we had those points of views, and it was good seeing what was going on outside the Curio Cabinet, it was kind of like too many issues were happening in too many places at once. Yeah, so it would have been, I think that if this was just like about the Curio Cabinet, like I would have loved it so much more because I did find it really interesting, the Curio Cabinet. I felt like that was such a unique concept because I've never read something about that. And I also like the steampunk aspect to it. Kind of like, I don't love steampunk, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was a nice little touch. So overall, I think I would have to give this like book a 3 out of 5 stars. I do not love it, but I would definitely recommend this book to people who like steampunk and who like fantasy and who like lots of elements all coming together in one novel. But if
Right.
you're more like a simplistic reader, or you just like to have one setting, then I probably wouldn't recommend it to you. But all in all, it was a pretty good novel. I enjoyed reading it.
Yeah, I also gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I think what this book could really benefit from, and I think this will help with maybe later books and things along those lines, is just more exposition. I think this book would have really benefited from kind of explaining the world better in the beginning. Like eventually the Western society was more explained, but it kind of happened towards the end. And it took me a really long time to figure out what their starvation gene was and kind of how it worked and kind of the dynamics of it within society. So I just would have liked to have learned about that sooner and just kind of how they got there, and just a little more exposition I think would have been helpful for both worlds, and I think it would have caused less confusion in the long run, because I was a little confused, especially in the beginning of the book.
I want to know, so like something I found kind of difficult to kind of grasp in this novel is how to picture the porcelain dolls and like do you call it the talks, or what do they call the wind up?
Hog people?
Yeah, so like I felt picturing those people, I wish I love the aspect that they were like these dolls, but I didn't know whether to picture them as dolls, like porcelain dolls, or kind of more human.
Okay, so how I pictured them was like literally human, but they like are soft and stuff, but then when you kind of realize, like closer inspection, you kind of realize that they're kind of too beautiful or a little too like, you know, like a lot, because they're alive. So I visualize them as a person, just someone who's maybe like a little too like stiffer kind of person, and then someone, you know, so there's like the porcelain dolls, and then there's like the other ones. I just imagine those people to be like less beautiful, and they have like more visual mechanics. Millie, sorry.
Yeah, like I agree with that. I think that it was the hardest part for me was kind of picturing these characters, because I've seen steampunk movies. I actually do enjoy steampunk when it comes to movies, and like one of the best steampunk themes I've read was in the Infernal Devices, when we had those Infernal Devices, and so picturing those were a little bit easier than picturing these for me. But I kind of picture them the same way as you, but I think I more took on like the doll format for them, more like dollish than human, but like. Another thing I found difficult, which I hope you can explain to me, because I feel like I either missed this point in the book or it just wasn't explained well, but you know how they don't have any food in the curio cabinet? So they don't have any human food. They say run off of water. So you know how she got the food from the paintings? How was that a thing? I feel like I missed that when I was reading it.
Well, I mean, like, I think it's just a matter of the world itself is magical. The fact that all these things are animated kind of gives the basic groundwork to say, hey, this place doesn't function as a normal world does. It has magic. And they noticed in the beginning of her time there that someone, like a servant, went there and got a pot out of the painting. It's just like a magical thing that just is. So like they can get anything out of those paintings, pots, and they always look the same. So it's just the same thing, but with food. It just tastes like paint.
Oh my god, you're right. I totally missed that pot. Okay, so I remember when she got the pot out. Okay, one second. This is going to sound like really weird, but it's something that I appreciate in this novel. How the author brought notice that this character has to use the bathroom.
It made sense.
It made sense. Never, like, I don't read books that often when the character actually has to use the toilet, has a period. I don't
like that.
Yeah, like they don't mention that in books. So when
I know, it's fantastic because it's like, if you're knocked out for 3 days and you wake up, you're gonna be like, crap, I really need to pee, and where do I pee?
Yeah, exactly. So like it was practical.
Yeah, it was, and that is definitely something I appreciated. I also appreciated just the character build in general. I liked how she was like this Viking-esque female, like tall, strong, like blonde, like she knew what she looked like. She wasn't cocky about it, but she was very aware of her own presence, and that I appreciated too. Like, not every YA character needs to be meek and quiet, and you know, and I feel like those characters should exist as well. I just feel like there should be a broad spectrum of characters that we experience as readers, and I just kind of liked her as a character.
No, I agree, and like, what I could totally picture her character, because like, if you ever watch the show Vikings, or
I do.
Yeah, and the idea of Vikings.
Agatha.
Yeah, exactly. So like you could picture like this character very well, and I kind of like the Viking aspect to her because everybody else around her were fragile and small. So I thought that was a really good aspect to it. And when an author can accurately describe a character and her features in a non-cocky or kind of, I don't know what would be the right word, but they don't show off what the character looks like.
Right.
I'm happy. And
I also just like how her whole family was just like giant. You know what I mean? And the thing is, though, her physical traits and her physical abilities were explained by her like heritage, by the fact that she was a defender. They're like, yeah, she's this big, tall person because she has defender blood in her, and that's why she's like this, you know? So I appreciated that it was connected of her appearance and like her like everything was just explained, and I appreciated that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. And like the defender, how she's a defender, like that was a very interesting like subplot in it. I feel like I know that was like a major thing, but like you didn't really get to know much about it until like the middle to end of the story. So that was definitely a unique aspect of it.
Can we talk about how that one guy in the curio cabinet was alive for like 100 years? Is that like kind of like an Edward Bella situation? Because they did get together.
Yeah, I was like, what? Like, I was kind of confused at the beginning because this is one of the aspects of the storyline that I was kind of confused with, because when an author does not explain things like that for quite a while, it kind of doesn't settle well in my brain, at least. So like I was just very like hung up on that aspect of it, and finally once it was like explain and stuff, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But like it was just really interesting aspect of it that I wish was kind of explained earlier than it was.
Right. I did like the one aspect of the book that I would just, and not that I felt that this was lacking in the novel, just more that I just wanted more information because I found it very interesting. I wanted kind of more of an origin story for the chemists in the story. Like how do those people get those powers, and how do they maintain their powers? How does their government work? Like I did want more information about the chemists because I thought they were interesting. And then we found out that one the guy stuck in the curio cabinet came out, and that annoying chemist was his cousin or something. They're like related. So his mom I think was a chemist, I think. And
something like that. That was a very unique aspect, and I think would make a great sequel story or like a prequel. Just like maybe from the chemist's point of view, how those
that'd be interesting for sure. Or like even that guy's parents like point of view, because clearly they're like they have to be relatively good people, right?
Yeah, like they should be okay. Like so that would be interesting, kind of seeing that, because that would this book is not the shortest book. It's like not the longest book, but it's like 420 pages.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
It's enough to explain that stuff in it, but I feel like if anything else was added into the story, it would just be too much, and I don't think I could have handled that.
Right.
Because even I can read. I don't mind reading complex books. I love doing that. I love when it's done well. But when there's too much stuff, like I feel muffled, and I hate that feeling when I don't know how to picture it. And I have that feeling with some books now and then. And I usually have to put the book down and maybe approach it later on. But like with the story, I did not feel completely muffled. But as at like points of it, like especially at the beginning, I felt muffled. That it did get cleared up in the end, though.
Yeah, I do think this kind of had a little bit of a confusing start, but like I said, I think I mentioned this to you. It really picked up for me when she got in the curio cabinet. The curio cabinet setting was my favorite. Well, I found the stuff going outside the curio cabinet interesting. I just really loved the dynamics of the inside. Like honestly, my favorite character was Beauty's Best before she got there, before Gray got there. Her name is escaping me and it's annoying me. I keep wanting to call her. What did I want to call her?
You wanted to call
Girl from Les Mis.
Fontaine.
Oh yeah, I kept calling her Fontaine. That's not her name. But I thought she was so fascinating because she's like this she's this thing. She's this doll who's been animated, and she's like completely obsessed with beauty and not breaking, and like, you know, just all these superficial things, but that is her life and her existence, and like you can't really blame her for that. And it was just a very interesting perspective to have, I thought. And that one guy, that blue guy, he was creepy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Blue Boy, what's it called, or something like that?
Blue Boy, I think.
Yeah, like that was so. Some of the names in this book I want to bring notice to. So like, whenever they're having dinner, they call it sip because when you sip, like because they only have water.
And at first I was like, what are they talking about? And then I realized it's because they only drink water.
Yeah, so they have sip. And then there's like that other thing that they call their jitterbox or something. I thought the names were kind of silly at the beginning, but then it made sense because as I got more immersed in the world.
When they were like, she was bleeding and she's like, you're leaking, but it's so beautiful. Like, what is this? I was like, so
Yeah, just like certain aspects of this I found really funny.
Yeah.
Just because they were so oblivious to who human beings are.
Yeah. Or like when she got hurt and they filled all of her cracks with glue.
With glue, and it's like, don't do that.
I mean, I guess that works. Like,
I mean, it doesn't do the job, but
I guess that'll work.
So, we're talking a lot about the Curio cabinet, but let's talk a little bit more about like the outside world. Like, what did you think of what was his name? I keep on forgetting their names.
Wit. Are you talking about Wit?
Wit. Yeah. It took me a while. I'm like, is it Wyatt or Wit? But I think it was Wit. Yeah. So Wit's point of view, I thought that his point of view was necessary because of the outside world and like the conflicts that were going on there. But I did enjoy his storyline, but I enjoyed the Curio cabinets a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it's just because of, like, that story he was dealing with was really interesting, but there just wasn't enough of it. So I wanted more time. Like, I really like that one girl that's his love interest. I thought she was really sassy and really funny. And the thing I think would really his story would benefit from was, again, just more exposition. Like, I don't really have a full grasp on what are the refugee situations like, and why don't the chemists just go in there by force and control all these people? You know, like, I don't understand what's keeping the chemists from dealing with the refugees directly, and vice versa. Like, I just want more explanation on, like, the political and, like, social structure of the refugees and what's going on there. And I think that would just help flesh out his story a little more.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting. I'm interested to see if he gets really addicted to that, because he remember he had to drink the bottle to get the thing.
Oh yeah.
It was clearly like an addicted drug, and so I'm curious to see what happens with that.
Like, just like that. Like, honestly, it was interesting how the story also took place in the United States, like an alternate world of ours, because I wanted it to feel like the Wild West, but it had these aspects to it that weren't familiar. So kind of like trying to mix and match these worlds to create the world that you see in the story was definitely like a cool experience, because I wanted to be like the Wild West, but then there were like these potions and like this magic, so you had to like kind of put those in, and then all of a sudden like they mentioned Chicago and New York, and I'm like, what? So that was pretty cool how they have that.
Totally.
Is this a series?
Yeah, I think so. It says Curio 1, and just kind of based on the ending, I felt like there'll be more, because there's still like
those are thunders.
Like, they still got stuff they gotta deal with. Oh, by the way, anyone who's watching, feel free to ask us questions with the Perustopia hashtag.
Here.
We have a couple here, but again, we'll answer anything and anything. So
ask us, like, if you ask us, like, hey, what's a good steampunk book, we'll recommend one for you. So there's some questions here if you want to start answering some.
Oh yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
So one of them's from Miranda, and she asks, what was the hardest part of the book to get through? I thought the beginning.
Yeah.
Beginning, because she wasn't like, it was definitely laying out the rest of the story at the beginning, but it was kind of like that anticipation of when she got in the Curio cabinet, because you know it was gonna happen. So just like waiting to read that was kind of like, I kind of was going at it at a sluggish pace, and I was just like, I just want to get to that point, but I feel like I have to, like, I can't read this fast. I have to actually take it into context and kind of develop the world in my brain before she gets to the Curio cabinet, or else I'm not going to understand what I'm reading. Totally. So that was the hardest part for me.
No, I agree. It just took, like, once they kind of got started and kind of they started running with the story, that's when I got into it. But the first 20 or so pages, but honestly, at like the 50-page mark, I started getting into it because I was really interested about this Curio case. Like, I don't know, I think I like stories about dolls because I thought that was interesting. Did you ever read that book when you were a kid about the dolls? Like, it was like a family of dolls, and they were alive and they came to life, and like,
that sounds like a horror movie.
No, it's not scary. It's really good. I can't remember what it's called.
You know what this world reminded me of?
Old book about dolls. It was so good. Oh yeah, the doll people. You know the doll people? It's so, Google it, Sasha. It's cute.
Okay, you know Coraline?
Yeah, but that one's creepy. The doll
I
people.
know, that's what sometimes like
this nice family
remind me of.
It's about a nice family. The doll people.
I've never seen this book before.
I loved it. I got it at the book fair.
Oh, it looks like a book fair type of book.
Yeah, and like that was what I loved. I really liked that book. So I think this had a little bit of nostalgia for me of some way.
I don't know, like, I just kept on getting Coraline vibes in the Curio cabinet, which I think was, like, necessary because this book also had the creepy aspect to it. But, yeah, that's what I kind of felt. And, like, I've never read a book with dolls in it, I think. So it was a new experience for me. So when I experience anything new, I always take it, like, you know, you have to take it how it is. And if it doesn't sit well with you, you know, that's how it's going to be. But if it does, like, you learn about something new and that you like. So I feel like I'm very, like, central with both those points. Like, I do like it, but I'm not going to actively seek out doll books.
No. Yeah, I like the doll aspect. I have to say, as someone who reads a lot of fantasy and a lot of urban fantasy, I'm, like, on the fence still. Just, like, out of discussion with Curio, just generally speaking, I'm still on the fence about steampunk. It's, like, one of those things that I really, really want to love, and then I always read it, and I'm always like, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I just love pretty dresses and old court politics.
Yeah, no, it's because, like, steampunk's such, like, a mix and match type of world.
Yeah.
And, like, I've read like 2 steampunk books before this one. One was The Falconer, which is actually really good. It takes place in Scotland.
Oh yeah, I read that too. I think
I didn't know it was steampunk until, like, halfway through it.
Oh, it is steampunk.
It is, yeah. So you don't even notice it until, like, halfway through.
Yeah, it is.
And then, like, The Inventor's Secret. The Inventor's Secret's definitely, like, full out steampunk. So it was definitely a new experience for me, no matter what. And, like, I enjoyed it. Like, I like the idea of steampunk. I like it in, like, a little bit of stories, not, like, as a full thing. I even have steampunk leggings I was gonna wear, but I'm like, nobody's gonna
see, like, cogs on it. Like, I love the dress of steampunk.
Yeah, I like the outfits.
Cool. Like, you know, when you remember those Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. and stuff? That's so cool. Like, I love that.
Cool. No, I love that. I love it when it's in movies.
Yeah, I guess it's such a steampunk is so visual.
It is. It's so visual that it's hard to read about it in books if it's not described properly.
Right. And I thought the doll steampunk in Curio was done pretty well. Like, it wasn't, like, overdone. Like, they had steam mechanics and they had, I mean, it makes sense that they live in a steampunk society because they have dolls that have mechanics on the inside. So, like, I thought it made sense and I liked it. Yeah,
no, I liked it too. Like, so, like, I don't know, like, I'm not gonna go read a bunch of steampunk unless, like, somebody's like, oh my gosh, you have to read this, it's life or death. But, like, steampunk, like, how it is in Infernal Devices, which is very minimal. It's just, like, the creatures that are made out of, like,
but even that was, like, my least favorite part of the Infernal Devices.
Yeah, like, I felt like, it was, like, important to have that, but it was, like, it kind of introduced me to steampunk, but I didn't really notice it was steampunk until, like, after I read the series, because then I'm like, oh, steampunk's a thing.
Yeah, I read Jim Butcher's new book this month, too. This is, like, entirely unrelated, but the Aeronaut's Windblast. I was so excited about it, because I love the Codex Alera series, but this is steampunk, and it has, like Sky Pirates, and it was good, but it wasn't great. And so I just feel like that's my life with steampunk. I'm just never, like, super impressed. You're never, like, content. Yeah. No, totally. There's some more questions, I think. Yes. Okay, so this is from Kevin. He asks, did you enjoy the different perspectives? I really liked my favorite 2 perspectives was the shifting back and forth between Gray and, oh my, I'm, like, blanking on everyone's name. Gray and... I don't know why I cannot, like, handle the names. I just, like, forget all of them. I always forget. Like, I can be, like, halfway through the book and I forget names. That's just not something I, like, remember. Gray and her love interest in the Curio City. Oh, his name's, like, is it Birch? Not Birch. That's a tree. Bridge? It's, like, no, it's, like, oh, what is it? Blaze. Is it Blaze? Yeah, it is Blaze. It's totally Blaze. Yeah. So I liked her and Blaze's perspective just because they were acting in the same world, so, like, everything corresponded with each other. So those are my favorite perspectives. Yeah, I think they were interesting, and, like, I feel like Blaze's point of view, without it, like, the story wouldn't be complete because Blaze has a totally different perspective of the city than because he's been there for so long. Did you like Gray's name? Gray? Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I'm never really that picky with names unless they're, like, ridiculous. You know what I mean? I liked it, but the thing with me about it is that it was so different than the other names in the world. Because in the world, like, they had very unique names, and then her name was, like, Gray. And I'm like, well, not really. Not in, like, the Western world. like Wit was the guy's name, and her name was Gray, and her
But
dad
then,
name was like Olin.
Her father's name, like whatever, like her father's and like her grandfather's name. So I was like, wow. What? Oh, yeah. And then, like,
that's like not that. Like, I feel like her name fits with that. I mean, like, when you go into the Curio cabinet, they're like a lot fancier.
There's such doll names in that place. Like,
cool.
such dolls.
Serene, and, like, Callus and stuff. I like their names. But yeah, I was cool with her name. I mean, it wasn't like my favorite name I've heard, but I thought it would like worked for the story. Oh no, you're frozen. Or am I frozen? Do a dance. Oh no, I'm gonna see if there's any other questions to see here. So someone asked, any other book that are similar to Curio or recommendations for readers? Let me think. Because I've honestly haven't read a lot of steampunk, and when Sasha like re-emerges as non-frozen, I'm sure she'll also have some suggestions. Let me look at my bookshelves. Oh, you know, this is what I recommend. Oh. Are you back, Sasha? Nope, she's refrozen. Yeah. Oh, there she is.
Okay.
But the book I would recommend would be The Rithmatist by Sanderson. This is a steampunk book that I've actually really liked. It's about kids in like kind of a magic school, but the magic school is controlled by like chalk, so they fight each other with chalk creatures, and all the illustrations that they draw are like present in the book. It's really cool, and it also has steampunk elements, and it's really neat.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Oh, someone asked for recommendations of other books to read after Curios, like other steampunk type books. Oh. I guess we'll never know, Sasha. But yeah, definitely The Rithmatist is super cool. It's one of my, it's a middle grade book, but it's fascinating and really good. Sanderson's like the king of writing, just generally. I'm trying to think if there's any other books I can think of. Like, I don't read that much steampunk. Surprisingly or not so surprisingly, I'm not sure. Sasha's Wi-Fi cut out, but don't worry, I'm here. Technical difficulties, everyone. I'm glad everyone is still like being patient. Let's see, is there any other questions? And we'll definitely announce the book for next month because we have that picked out as well.
Am I back?
Ah, you're back.
Sorry, my Wi-Fi. Okay, my Wi-Fi didn't really cut out. It just like stopped.
It just stopped working?
It just stopped. Okay, well, I'm gonna recommend my book because I want to like, I don't know of like a steampunk book really that, I mean, The Falconer's really good, but honestly, I would probably recommend Poison Study because they talk about like concoctions of like poisons and like kind of potions. Yeah. So like I definitely recommend that. Have you read that?
That's a good book. I like that book.
I love Marie B. Schneider.
I read that book literally before I started book 2, but I haven't continued on. I don't know why. I think it's because it's so hard to find the second book and the matching cover of the first book.
Oh, I got it.
How did you get it? Why is that a problem?
Amazon used. Go to Amazon used.
But why are the first and third book in production in one cover and the second book in production of another cover?
I don't know. And then the rest of the series is in a different cover, and I like the original ones the best. They're so pretty. They're the prettiest covers on my bookshelf personally, and they're my favorite covers I've ever looked at.
Yeah, I don't understand. It's crazy.
Crazy. I don't know why, but definitely Poison Study.
Oh, yeah. If you had to choose one character of the book to meet in real life, who would you choose? I would totally choose the crazy Curio lady who's like really obsessed with beauty because I'd want to see what she'd be like as a human. Like, I just imagined her being like the next reality star because she's so insane.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I think I would like to meet her as well, but I would also just like to meet Olan, her main character is that his name, Olan?
Oland?
Oh, yeah, whatever his name was. I want to meet him and just ask him about the
was a badass.
I know. I would just want to talk to him and be like, you're so cool.
He's like a real life bear. Like, I just imagine him being like just like this old man that can just like deal with anything.
Kick some ass.
Basically, though. All right, should we talk about the book for next month?
Yes. So we're really excited about our next book of the month's read. So like it's actually a really fun book, and we hope you guys can join to read it with us. Now Reagan's gonna announce it since I don't have the hard copy with me. Reagan.
Right. So next month we are going to be working and doing a indie author, which I think is really important because indie authors can publish so many fantastic things that because they don't have the like advertising or whatever of like publishing houses, they kind of can have a harder time getting out. So we thought it'd be kind of fun to do an indie author who's gotten really great reviews and we've seen around. Anyway, less talking. We've decided to do The Curse of the Sphinx by Ray Wagner. And this is kind of like, this has a combination of mythology and real life. It follows the main character, Hope, who's been like running her whole life. She doesn't really know why, but her mom keeps making her run. And then her mom, something happens to her, and now she's trying to keep running and protect herself from Apollo's curse and all of that. It sounds really cool. I know I've seen other booktubers read and review it, and it's gotten pretty good reviews. So I'm excited to read this. What do you think, Sasha?
I'm really excited because I don't read too much about Greek mythology,
Really?
and I want to read more about it. This is Greek, yeah, Apollo and stuff, right? So like this would be really fun, and I love supporting indie authors, and so I think this will be great. And I hope you guys join us. We'll be linking the books for this month and the next month down below, so you can go join us for next books. For the next book, you guys have Curio if you're already watching this, but if not, we'll link it down below too, just in case you want to read it.
It's easy because it's late.
Yeah, it's okay. So oh my gosh, the people across downstairs for me, they have like this laser light show every like evening, and it's like going on right now. It's so weird. I wish I could show you, but you probably can't see it. Anyways, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Yeah, so thank you guys for joining us for the Curio live show, and if you read Curio as well during our month for it, please tell us your thoughts on it down below. We would love to know, and tell us also on the Goodreads page, which will also be down below, if you're gonna be reading with us next month as well.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here for the Perustopia live show. Thank you, Reagan, for being here too, even though you're always here.
What can I say?
What can you say? Okay, so thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next month with the next live show. Bye. Wait, okay, is it still live?
I think it's still alive, Sasha.
Oh my god, wait. Okay, now it's off. Wait, it's on? No, it's on. Okay, good.
It's still alive.
Okay, guys, we'll see you next month. I hate my Wi-Fi. Oh my gosh, the Wi-Fi sucks. Look, it's stopping, but it's not stopping.
Oh man, Sasha. Well, again, thanks everyone for watching. Please join us next month for The Curse of the Sphinx. We're pumped about it. We'll leave links for you to purchase. I'm sure there's a cheap ebook copy as well as a reasonably priced paperback. And yeah. I'm gonna keep answering questions because this live show hasn't ended. You know, I like to think of things. I think this shows the real us plagued by technical difficulties. You know, I'll answer. Give me some random questions, people. I'm like reading like the current comments as they're, and you can hear the texting going on. That's Sasha. So let me know. I love reading these comments. Ask away. I'm seeing them all.
Hello.
I'm seeing
I'm back.
Any historical fiction? The Bronze Horseman, people. Always the Bronze Horseman in the book.
I told Reagan to talk to you guys, and I
felt like I had like the Kane in the Hat. Or like, you know, in Ashley Simpson, like her voice track cut out and she did like the jig. That was me. I was like, we're still live. And we were watching that either. We already said bye.
Bronze Horseman?
Yeah.
Please read it, guys. Reagan recommended it to me, and it was the best decision of my life to read it because it's my now second favorite book ever.
The second one's even better.
Oh my god, I need to read the second one.
Yeah, it's like has some great separate character development. It's good.
Okay, guys. Well, we're gonna go now because my Wi-Fi is agreeing with me as of right now.
We're gonna try it this time.
Let's hope it works, and we'll see you guys next month.